smoke, tell them try me. I be getting that cheddar, but I don't mind beef. Play with that chicken, we make nuggets, give them a 9-piece. Oh, that's your bitch where she watching.
Like Juelz could have really been like, he could have been Hove level.
Real talk, he had it, and he had it at a young age. He could have been a leader of everything that's going on outside right now. He could have been all these young father, uncle, whatever you want to call it.
Have you ever heard of a rapper with chart-topping hits, over 300 unreleased tracks, and a game-changing partnership with Lil Wayne, yet still ended up as a cautionary tale? That's Juelz Santana. He wasn't just destined for greatness, he was supposed to be the star. From Harlem streets to the top of the rap game, his journey had everything it needed to become legendary. But then came the chaos. Police raids, addiction, legal battles, and a career that unraveled before the world's eyes. What went wrong? How did one of the most promising rappers of his generation fade into the shadows? This is the story of Juelz Santana, the rise, the fall, and the unrealized legacy of the greatest rapper that never was. And if you're a true hip-hop lover, skipping this or not subscribing to the channel would be a straight-up crime. Don't let that happen. Hit subscribe now. Let's start where it all began. Harlem, the city that doesn't just create talent, it births icons. Juelz Santana was destined to be one of them.
No, Harlem is a legendary place, man. It was, it's a great area, especially my time growing up. I mean, it's still a lot of the, Harlem had a lot of the nostalgicness that it was known for.
Growing up in the buzzing chaos of Harlem streets, he wasn't just soaking in the culture, he was marinating in it. By the time he was 12, while most kids were figuring out if they could pull off Velcro sneakers, Juelz was already commanding a stage at the legendary Apollo Theater. That's not a small-time playground. It's where dreams either explode into fireworks or die a quick death. And Juelz, he strutted in, left his mark, and made it clear he wasn't about to be ignored. Fast forward a few years, and teenage Juelz wasn't wasting time with the usual adolescent drama. Nope, he was out there signing with Priority Records, making moves that screamed, "I'm here, and y'all better pay attention." But let's be real, the real plot twist came when he joined forces with Cameron and Jim Jones to create Dipset, aka the Diplomats. Now, Dipset was Harlem's answer to a cultural takeover. They had everything, the beats, the bars, the audacity to make pink fur coats a thing.
When I holler and spit, told me to acknowledge her quick. She like, Cam, stop fronting on that Dave Hosted tip.
Their influence stretched beyond music, stamping its DNA into streetwear, slang, and the entire vibe of the early 2000s. Dipset wasn't playing around, and neither was Juelz. And then came the tracks. Hey Ma, but it was Santana's town.
My birthplace, Tombstone, Dirt Place, Doomsday, Goonsday, Tuesday to Thursday. Juelz.
That shut the doubters up for good. Juelz wasn't just riding Dipset's wave, he was building his own. And just when you think he'd reached his peak, he teamed up with Chris Brown on Run It and turned a catchy track into a worldwide banger. Suddenly, Juelz was everywhere, magnetic, versatile, and undeniably talented. But if you really wanted to see Juelz in his rawest, most unfiltered form, you had to dive into his Back Like Cook Crack mixtape series. These were unapologetic snapshots of Harlem life, delivered with a punch that hit harder than a bad breakup. No gimmicks, no glossy beats, just Juelz spitting fire with the kind of authenticity that made you feel like you were right there on the corner with him. Tracks like Santana,
Okay. My peace talking sound oh so sweet talking.
weren't just songs, they were declarations. And did I forget to mention the duo Juelz Santana and Lil Wayne? Believe me, they weren't just two rappers spitting verses together. They were the blueprint for what everyone in hip-hop now tries to pull off with these joint projects.
Cash money, Wayne, holla at him. My face numb, taste some. Fiends come back for this here. Grade A, A1.
Back in the mid-2000s, when solo careers were the measure of greatness and collabs were more like guest appearances than partnerships, I Can't Feel My Face was like discovering fire. You had Lil Wayne, this unstoppable force from New Orleans, paired with Juelz Santana, Harlem's sharpest weapon, and together, they were ready to change the rap game forever. And the hype wasn't just in the idea, it was in the execution. Tracks like Black Republicans,
You can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. I feel like a black Republican told a Mac and a Republican act.
and Bad Side leaked from the studio sessions and sent fans into a frenzy. These weren't just mixtape fillers, they were the kind of songs that made you stop whatever you were doing and hit rewind, dissecting every bar because you knew you were hearing something rare. The chemistry between them was electric. Wayne's insane versatility met Juelz's gritty, no-nonsense edge, and the result was pure magic. Fans weren't just excited, they were convinced this project was going to reshape hip-hop. But, of course, the music industry had other plans. You had Def Jam, Universal, Cash Money, and Dipset all fighting for control like it was an episode of Game of Thrones. Back then, the industry didn't exactly believe in collaboration is key. Labels held all the cards, and red tape was their weapon of choice. Juelz himself said it best. It was bigger than us. Translation, the project died, not because of lack of talent, but because corporate suits couldn't figure out how to share the pie. So, what did fans get instead? A couple of leaked tracks and a lifetime of wondering what might have been.
Trees and dungarees, the city under siege, kitchen 100 degrees. I love that summer breeze.
If you saw all of this unfold right before your eyes, then hit that subscribe button below. We're clearly on the same wavelength.
Wayne was supposed to do I Can't Feel My Face.
No,
and I guess a bunch of records got recorded, but it never came out.
We actually, no, it did. Because if you Google I Can't Feel My Face, it's a project out there. But it's not.
Oh,
so let me tell you what
bad.
happened. Me and Wayne, just like, we did a bunch of records together.
Here's the real kicker though. While I Can't Feel My Face sat collecting dust, Wayne kept climbing. He funneled all that momentum into his solo career, dropped the Carter 3, and became a global superstar. Meanwhile, Juelz, who had every bit of potential to ride that same wave, found himself stuck. The tracks we did get from the project are still cult classics, but they feel more like postcards from a dream that never fully came true. It's the ultimate what if in hip-hop history, haunting fans who know just how much brilliance was left on the cutting room floor. And another tragedy that people often miss to mention is when over 300 plus of his tracks were allegedly sitting on hard drives, locked away like national secrets. These weren't just random throwaways. Some of them were collaborations, some were solo gems, and they all had the potential to reignite his career. And where are they now? Gone, wiped out during a 2011 police raid on his New Jersey studio. Guns and years of creative work down the drain. Those tracks weren't just a loss for Juelz, they were a loss for hip-hop. Now, the timing couldn't have been worse. Lil Wayne, his I Can't Feel My Face partner in crime, was skyrocketing to stardom. Wayne capitalized on the momentum, cranking out hits like a machine and becoming a global icon. Meanwhile, Juelz seemed stuck in a loop of indecision and distractions. Their chemistry, which birthed underground classics like Black Republic, could have carried Juelz to the same heights. Instead, Wayne became a legend, and Juelz became a cautionary tale. And the reason those songs stay locked away? Perfectionism. It's the classic blessing and curse combo. Juelz would hype up projects on Instagram, dropping cryptic posts that sent fans into a frenzy, only to let them down time and again. No album, no mixtape, just a steady stream of false starts. Fans eventually caught on to the routine. Teaser, excitement, then silence. While Juelz was tweaking every detail and striving for perfection, the music industry moved on. And in this game, time is money, and patience is non-existent. But still, there were glimmers of hope though. His stint on Love and Hip Hop New York in 2016 brought him back into the public eye. It reminded fans of the charisma and raw talent that had made him a star in the first place. But it also exposed the cracks in the armor. It was a comeback attempt, sure, but it also highlighted just how far Juelz had fallen.
It's like the Diplomats. I got 3 older brothers, Cam, Jim, and Zeke. We go through stuff, but our bond made us a family and a brotherhood that, is really like.
Then there were the personal struggles. Addiction, long rumored and publicly acknowledged by Dipset members like Cameron, became a recurring theme. The infamous stories of locking Juelz in the studio to force him to finish verses weren't just Dipset lore.
We used to have to lock Juelz in the house, straight up and down. When he's 15, 16, you don't want to go to school, you ain't going outside, you come with us to the club. Yo, you did them song, all them songs that you hear, the bangers.
They painted a grim picture of an artist battling demons. Cam even called him out for being too high to work. A brutal but honest assessment of how addiction was derailing his potential. And if the industry politics weren't enough, Juelz's personal life was a whole other train wreck waiting to happen. The lowlight was on that infamous airport fiasco in 2018. Think of Juelz trying to catch a flight with a loaded gun and a pocket full of oxycodone, gets flagged at security. And what does he do? He bolts. He just leaves everything behind and takes off. Days later, he turns himself in, earns a federal sentence of 19 months, and serves 17 of them. Not exactly the kind of headlines that scream career on the rise. As if industry politics and perfectionism weren't enough, the rap game itself changed under Juelz's feet. The mixtape era faded, replaced by streaming platforms that demanded consistent content to stay relevant. Younger, hungrier artists stepped up. and the window of opportunity for Juelz began to close. The man who once defined the streets found himself lost in an industry that had no time for nostalgia or delays. Comparisons to his peers only make this story sting more. Lil Wayne faced similar struggles, addiction, label drama, but managed to overcome them and solidify his legacy. Even in Harlem, where Juelz once reigned, new faces like A$AP Rocky emerged.
My old lady called me baby, told apart in my age. 12 shells in the gauge like a carton of eggs. We on home like every...
Carrying the torch while Juelz's star dimmed. The collapse of Dipset as a unified force only added to the isolation, stripping him of the support system that had once been his foundation. For all his talent, Juelz's story boils down to a tragic cycle of missed opportunities. His work ethic couldn't keep pace with his potential, and the changing industry left him behind.
Totally honest with you, to me, Juelz, I wouldn't say poor work ethic, but I'm just not sure why. Juelz will sit there with 300 songs on his hard drive and won't put it out.
Fans are left wondering, is it too late for Juelz Santana to reclaim his throne? Now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're bringing you the realest, rawest voice in hip-hop, and you don't want to miss what's coming next.